The Chicago White Sox are on a downward spiral, taking all hope and joy with them. The White Sox lost to the Kansas City Royals on Tuesday night by a score of 9-7. Gavin Sheets and Eloy Jimenez provided the offense, but White Sox pitching could not stop the Royals from scoring runs. White Sox lose their fifth game in a row.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online, where the game starts. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Chicago White Sox had a player hit 2 home runs in a game at home for the first time all year. The Kansas City Royals scored runs in every inning except the first and ninth. Lucas Giolito says all the right things, but is not getting the desired results. State of our White Sox, it is grim, 63-66, 6 games back in the AL Central, chasing the Cleveland Guardians. There are 33 games left in the season. White Sox come off of that day off on Monday and fall to the Kansas City Royals 9-7 Tuesday night. White Sox are now 7-10 against the Kansas City Royals this season. A few news and notes to get to before Tuesday's game. Yasmani Grandal might be activated in the lineup on Wednesday. He was, I think, with the team Tuesday night. Luis Robert did not play again on Tuesday, dealing with that wrist injury. When will he play? We're hearing it's, of course, when he can swing a bat comfortably. It sounds like he can do all baseball activities aside from swinging a bat. At this point, does it even matter? I guess you don't want to push him with the way the White Sox have been playing, but it's definitely a different lineup when a healthy Luis Robert is not in there. We also had some information about Tony La Russa before the game Tuesday. So Tony La Russa talked to the media for 7 minutes before Tuesday's game, doing his usual pre-game interview session. He was also on the field during batting practice. But then the White Sox released a statement. At the direction of his doctors, Chicago White Sox manager Tony La Russa will miss Tuesday night's game versus Kansas City. La Russa is scheduled to undergo further medical testing Wednesday in Chicago. Bench coach Miguel Cairo will manage the club in La Russa's absence. The Sox anticipate providing an update on La Russa's status prior to Wednesday night's game against the Royals. So, read into that what you will. Hopefully, of course, Tony La Russa is okay. Any tests come back clean and he can rejoin the club. But Tony La Russa is 77 years old and he's going to be 78 before the season ends. So If you're someone that wants to think up some conspiracy theories, you can possibly think about the fact that, well, there's no way Jerry Reinsdorf in the front office will fire Tony La Russa. They will not fire him in season. They won't fire him after the season. He has one more year on his contract. Jerry Reinsdorf wants Tony La Russa to save face. And I have a feeling, this is just my thought. I had thought, months ago when things were really spiraling and there were a lot of fire Tony chants and things were getting pretty bad after walking Trey Turner with a 1-2 count and the national media picking up on it. I had a feeling that, if the media and the national attention was going to be the way it was on La Russa, that Jerry Reinsdorf might want to find a way out for Tony La Russa. And again, if you're just trying to think about some conspiracy theories here, possibly they might go and say, you know what, it's just under doctor's orders. Tony La Russa is not going to return to the team for the rest of this season. And then maybe there's an announcement after the year that La Russa will not stay as manager for the White Sox. I don't know. But first things first, hopefully he is okay. Everything goes well, and interested to hear about those test results. We should get some more information from the White Sox before Wednesday's game. If you're looking for some reading material, great article by John Greenberg in The Athletic called Project Bridgeport, kind of a play on what's happening in the minor league system, Project Birmingham. Really enjoyed the article. If you are angry as I am with what's been going on and you are seeking change, he lays it out pretty clearly on how things got to where they are and what could potentially happen in the future. That's John Greenberg in The Athletic, Project Bridgeport. I don't know if you get these Scott Merkin article newsletters that head into your email inbox once a week. They're called White Sox Beat. And I was reading one, the latest from Scott Merkin on Tuesday, and it was covered Lucas Giolito quite a bit. A lot of interesting quotes from Giolito just on his process, where he's at mentally, and wanted to go over some of this because it really was telling with how the year has been and what happened Tuesday. Here's Giolito from Scott Merkin's newsletter. Well, it's a failure for me. Just a lot of ups and downs, not many ups. It's unfortunate that that's how the game goes sometimes. Worked about as hard as I could to try to pull myself out of the mud multiple times this year and got kicked in the face a lot. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from the confidence I have in myself overall. I feel like right now I'm in a much better spot physically and mentally than I was throughout the major part of the year. At this point, what's in the past is in the past, and I'm just going to focus on my work and focus on finishing strong, Giolito said. I'm not pitching for any personal accolades. I'm pitching to try to give us a chance to get into the playoffs every time I take the ball, playing for the team, trying to give it my all out there every single start. I was telling you guys before the season I put on weight and I wanted to be very stable and strong, and then I got hurt on opening day. Things after that just weren't really right all year. I feel a little bit stronger, a little bit healthier just in general, and I feel like I let go of some of that frustration. A little bit too much experimenting coming into the season and early on. So it's back to basics. I'm just going to try to control what I can control. That's my preparation. And when I'm out there, it's trusting my stuff and being confident. And that's it. A lot of interesting things there to unpack from Lucas Giolito, especially regarding the muscle that he put on, then how quickly he got hurt, and then the experimentation now going on in season. Really interesting read there from Scott Merkin. It's usually up on the White Sox website a day or so after it gets blasted out to people's emails. The Kansas City Royals are 24 games under 500, but you would never have guessed it with the way they swung the bat. I'm going to tell you why lessons were not learned. More on that in a moment. BetOnline.net is your number one source for your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all the latest football league developments, game matchups, news, and podcasts, including this year's opening week's games. BetOnline is also your continued source for all your betting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So how about Lucas Giolito and the White Sox pitching staff? It was not good. And, based off of Giolito's comments in that Merkin newsletter, it sure seems like Lucas Giolito is trying to reconfigure things on the fly, reprogram within season, and that has not been going well. Hit or miss, really. First inning for Giolito, a middle fastball to get the leadoff hitter Taylor to strike out looking, then a ground out for Bobby Witt Jr. With 2 outs. Salvi Perez punches one to right field and runs on Gavin Sheets, as everybody should. He makes it to second without any issues. All's well that ends well as Giolito gets out of the inning with a ground out. 16 pitches for Giolito. Second inning, those home runs that Giolito tends to give up early in games struck again. Thankfully, just a solo home run, but quickly 1-0 Royals. Third inning, Gio issued a leadoff walk, but then was able to retire Bobby Witt Jr. for the second time. Perez is up with 2 outs, and he took a pitch off the plate out of the ballpark in right field for a 2-run home run. It's 3-0 Kansas City. Fourth inning, first pitch of the inning, Nick Pratto hits his second home run of the game. It's 4-0 Royals. A slider that just didn't slide. Giolito bounced back and struck out the side. Fifth inning, the Royals running all over White Sox outfield. No surprise there. Bobby Witt Jr. with a double, and then Perez once again hits his third hit of the game and third RBI as he brings Witt Jr. home with a single. It is 5-0 Kansas City. Sixth inning, there are 83 pitches on his arm as Gio starts things off. Sox just scored 4 runs to make it a 1-run game. So Giolito desperately needs a 1-2-3 inning. Gio got his 7th strikeout to start things out, and that's it. Miguel Cairo pulls him in favor of Tanner Banks. The Royals jumped all over Banks, hitting a single, then a double. Kansas City has runners on second and third with only 1 out. He walks the next hitter to load up the bases. A fly out to center field, and Kansas City did not test the arm. Tanner Banks departs, and Lambert came into the game to try to get the final out. This one really hurt. A bloop single that Gavin Sheets and his speed just could not get to. Royals score 2 runs. It's 7-4. Gavin Sheets is going to make a great DH for the White Sox. Giolito's final line, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 3 home runs. His ERA 5.27. He threw 89 pitches Tuesday night. Jimmy Lambert stayed in the game in the 7th inning. Royals just continued to attack. 2 on with only 1 out, and Jake Diekman comes into the game. Nick Pratto does damage again. He doubles in another Kansas City run. 8-4 Kansas City. Eighth inning, Joe Kelly returns after getting hit in the knee over the weekend with a line drive. He's back in it. He threw a changeup that did absolutely nothing to Michael Taylor. And Taylor did what you should do with a pitch like that, put it over the fence, 9-5 Kansas City. Ninth inning, Ruiz, he joined Jake Diekman as the only pitchers not to be credited with giving up a run. What an absolutely horrible pitching display by the White Sox. Hopefully, Lance Lynn will fare better on Wednesday night, but this Kansas City Royals team, despite being 24 games under 500, that's not stopping them. But you've got to learn from that. We've seen the Royals enough this year to pretty much have a good plan in place of how to pitch them. It just doesn't seem like it matters. Not only does Lance Lynn have to have a good outing, but like a dozen other things need to go right for there to be improvement. When the Sox hit 3 home runs in a game, good things usually happen. I'm going to tell you why Gavin Sheets will make a great designated hitter in 2023. More on that in a moment. Here's how the lineup looked Tuesday night. A.J. Pollock back in that top spot. Andrew Vaughn, and he was playing left field. Abreu at first. Jimenez was your DH. Sheets in right field. Andrus, Garcia, Harrison, Zavala. Of course, no Moncada, Robert, or Tim Anderson. Coming into the game, Brady Singer was 2-1 with an ERA of 2.01 and 20 strikeouts in 4 appearances against the White Sox this season. Got a huge sample size for 2022 with Brady Singer. Most recently, the White Sox saw Singer on August 9th. He went 7 1/3 innings and gave up 5 hits and only 1 earned run. So what have the Sox learned? How are they going to attack him? They've got enough video on Brady Singer. Got to go to the second inning here. Sox had Eloy on second base with only 1 out, looking for Andrus to shoot one maybe to the right side. He worked the count full, and he grounds out to second base. Eloy did get to third. The legend, Leury Garcia, had an opportunity to tie things up. Garcia also worked his way to a full count, and then an outstanding play by Prado at first base to rob Garcia of potentially extra bases. End of the inning. Third inning, in the top half, the Royals just hit their second home run of the night and took a 3-run lead. How will the White Sox respond? Can they answer? Josh Harrison with a bloop down the right field line and is able to get a double out of it. Man on second, nobody out. Zavala hit by a pitch on the right hand. So you got 2 on with 0 outs. Pollock is up and everybody shouting at their TV, radio, and device. The game is being streamed on for the Sox to stay out of the double play. Pollock swung on an 0-2 pitch that was 10 inches outside of the zone and struck out. Zero discipline there. Andrew Vaughn has an opportunity, and he hit a ground ball, narrowly escaping a double play. Runners on the corners with 2 outs, and August Abreu grounds out to third base. After 3 innings, Sox had 2 hits, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts, and were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Again, this was the 5th time the White Sox have seen Royals pitcher Brady Singer this season. Let's go to the 4th inning. Andrus and Garcia were on the corners with 2 outs. Harrison can get the Sox on the board. Singer throwing 94 miles per hour with some movement. And Josh Harrison, you guessed it, grounded out to shortstop to end the inning. Let's go to the 5th. Pollock and Abreu with base hits. Runners at the corners again for the Sox. Some 2-out offense finally as Eloy Jimenez rips a single up the middle to score Pollock. It was 5-1 Royals. Then Gavin Sheets loves hitting home runs on the south side, and he blasted a 3-run home run to right field. The Sox are now within a run. It's a 5-4 game. Andrus and Garcia continued the hit parade, 6 hits in a row. Brady Singer got knocked out of the game as the Sox put up 4 runs in the inning. Let's go to the 6th. Royals put up some additional runs to separate themselves, and the Sox just could not answer. They went quietly. 7th inning, a little bit of fight left in them as Eloy Jimenez led off the inning with a home run to left center. 8-5 Royals at that point, but that was it for the Sox in the inning. They could not build on that momentum. Got to go to the 9th with a man on. Gavin Sheets hits his 2nd home run of the game, his 5th RBI of the night. First time a White Sox player has hit 2 home runs in a game at home all season long. It was 9-7 Kansas City. Andrew struck out to end the game, and that's where they left it. Sox offense, 7 runs, 12 hits, 4 extra base hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts. Sox were 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Eloy Jimenez 3 for 4 with a home run. Sheets with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. It is a downward spiral, a tailspin for the White Sox. Not sure how they get out of this, but I will be here to cover the good, bad, and ugly. Thank you so much, folks, for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find your podcasts. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks again for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now, for your second listen, go check out the Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022, an 8-episode extravaganza to get you ready for the NFL season. The local team experts of the Locked On Podcast Network, plus a betting angle from Lee Sterling of Locked On Bets, all combining into one ultimate NFL preview. Search for Ultimate Pro Football Preview 2022 on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up in the next episode, I will recap Lynn's outing and hopefully have something more enjoyable to discuss about our White Sox. Hey, really appreciate you making time for the Locked On White Sox podcast. I'm Nick Morawski, and until next time, go Sox.